my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kusa. You ain't here for my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah, talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of every
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Saturday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so with that all being said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. All right, so with that all being said, let's get ready to get black into it. Everybody, please hit that like button. Thank you in advance. Okay, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Hey, Panther Strike. Okay, we got Luna in the house. Gerald is here. Deronda. All right, let's get into it. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators putting in work. I see you, Deronda. I see you, Troy. Okay, Desmond's in the house. All right, we the people. Okay, so let's get into it. So first things first. Now, I got these receipts from I Smoke Hip Hop. Blessed one. Okay, so if you've seen his video, these may look familiar to you because I actually got these from him. So shout out to Blessed One, okay, because he has been keeping his foot on the NFL's necks. Okay, with that all being said, let's talk about it because I had no idea. Now, once in the chat, for those of you who knew that Roger Goodell had a black nephew, once in the chat if you knew that already. Once in the chat if you knew that Roger Goodell has an adopted black nephew. I literally had no idea. And so now some things are starting to make sense as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so some people knew, some people didn't. Okay, now let's get into it. Desmond says no. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because I find it interesting. Not only does he have a black nephew, his nephew was at Jackson State with Deion Sanders. Okay, so who is NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell's nephew, Charlton Goodell? All you need to know about the Jackson State sophomore. Now, this is from 2022. Okay, so let's get into it. So Roger Goodell might not be an NFL player, but he is certainly the biggest domino in the entire National Football League. Now Goodell has been the NFL commissioner since August 8th of 2006, when he was chosen to succeed retiring commissioner Paul Talagbu. I hope I'm saying that right. Now, Commissioner Goodell has overseen numerous changes on and off the gridiron. He has improved safety protocols, increased the number of regular season games, and overseen numerous player and staff salary increments. That isn't to say that Goodell hasn't made some unpopular decisions as the NFL commissioner, but who wouldn't in that position? Over the weekend, Gridiron's numero uno broke the internet, but not for an NFL related reason. No, it was a surprise to many people, including us, that Roger Goodell has a nephew who is greatly involved in HBCU football. Now, I want you all to pay attention. Roger Goodell has a nephew. This young man was adopted by Roger Goodell's own younger brother. Okay, and they had him in HBCU football. I find that very interesting. But let's continue. So anyway, and this young man's name is Charlton Goodell, a sophomore at the time of this publication, and defensive lineman for the Jackson State Tigers. Roger was in attendance as Charlton's Jackson State University team played in the Celebration Bowl against North Carolina Central. Okay, skip past all of that. All right, because I feel like things are starting to make some sense. Because do you all remember that comment when Roger Goodell said that he was worried about Deion Sanders? Let's get into it. Deion Sanders tells Roger Goodell he wanted his nephew with him at Colorado. Coach Prime recruited the NFL commissioner's kin at Jackson State. This is an article from February the 9th of 2024. So Deion Sanders has always been fond of Roger Goodell. The Colorado Buffaloes football coach is one of the few legends with a unique tie to the NFL commissioner after coaching his nephew at Jackson State. Coach Prime even admitted that he wanted Charlton Goodell to make the transition with him to Colorado last year. It was one of the things he told the league's top man while sharing a moment at NFL Honors on Thursday night. Goodell also got an opportunity to talk with Shiloh and Shedeur Sanders, who accompanied their father at the ceremony in Las Vegas. They discussed next season and coming back to Colorado for a final season. Now, Charlton Goodell committed to Coach Prime at JSU and developed a good relationship with Shiloh, who admitted that he wanted to be recruited with his defensive teammate. He eventually moved on from the HBCU and transferred to Buffalo last year. So rather than going to Colorado behind Deion Sanders, Charlton Goodell transferred to Buffalo. But Deion Sanders had told Goodell, Roger Goodell that is, that he wanted his nephew to come with him. Now, Sanders and his sons took a break from off-season conditioning drills at Colorado. The Buffs secured one of the best combined recruiting classes over the past 20 years, with 7 four-star players, along with 5-star offensive lineman Jordan Seaton from IMG Academy. The weight of Coach Prime's influence has brought in 3 of the top players in CU history and just 14 months on campus in Boulder. Now, I want you to pay attention to that key word, the weight of Coach Prime's influence, because we all know that that's one thing that they hate, and that is Coach Prime's influence. And so when Roger Goodell made the comment, I'm worried about your father, what was that supposed to mean? We'll get back to that in a second. Meanwhile, I'm going to go to this video. With Shiloh. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now I'm going to use an overlay. I'm going to use an overlay. Here we go.
Congratulations, man. Why are you saying one of them? I think you go. Maybe they'll stay for another year. You know what he just said? He just said I don't know. I don't know. He wants you to come. He's gonna be there. He's okay. Everything's good. How you doing? I'm not gonna make it.
Now I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there. Because here's the thing. Now, Charlton Goodell is, of course, supposed to be going to the NFL. Now, I want you all to think about that. This is Roger Goodell's nephew, his younger brother's adopted son. Now, he's not that great of a player, supposedly. Okay. He's not that great of a player. Okay. According to Bless One. And then also I looked up some of his stats. Now, I'm thinking that just maybe this is the kind of story they like. Because didn't I tell you all this? Didn't I tell you all? And moderators, if you see anybody trolling, don't warn them about trolling. If it's obvious somebody's trolling, just block them right away. Now, with that all being said, listen, because I just blocked a troll. Okay, so with that all being said, this is the kind of story they like. Didn't I tell you all that they had an envy because Dion raised his sons, taught them values, he's coached them since they were little boys, 4 and 5 years old, and that he has such an influence over them, and they are so much like him, specifically Shedeur. But I told you all, that's not the story they want to paint. They like the story of the downtrodden little black boy who was wooed in with the white savior, who, you know, the story like Blindside. Remember I told you all that weeks ago? Once in the chat if you all remember that I told you that. Okay, once in the chat if you all remember that I told you that. That's the kind of downtrodden story they like. Little boy from nowhere, little black kid comes and gets saved and makes it all the way to the NFL, saved by the white folk. That's the story. And that's the story that Goodell wants to be shining out there and for everyone to follow. He wants his nephew, okay, this is nepotism 101. He wants his nephew to be the shining light. And he can't do all of that if Shedeur Sanders is dominating the sports headlines, if Shedeur Sanders is dominating the field, if he's the talk about Shedeur Sanders is dominating the NFL. Now, I don't know if this is true, but this is just what I'm thinking. Okay, this is just what I'm thinking. Because why didn't he let him follow Deion Sanders to Colorado? Deion wanted to take him with him. He recruited him at Jackson State. But he went to Buffalo. And we see that they're good friends, and Deion has always had a fondness for Goodell. And Goodell clearly said that he had a fondness for Deion Sanders. Okay? Now, with that all being said, let's continue. I'm going to go to this next video. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, this is from an interview that Roger Goodell did when he was speaking about his nephew. I'm going to play a little bit of the interview. I'm going to put up an overlay so you can hear it. He says, I look at him as my nephew. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell surprises by revealing he has a black nephew on Jackson State football team. This is from December of 2022. Now, I'm going to go to a clip. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share.
Side of the break. Meanwhile, if you're just tuning in, Commissioner, hugs, love. His team, though, Jackson State, his nephew playing for him, down by 3.
Okay, so y'all saw that. Now, here's the interview right here. Uncomfortable conversations with a black man. This is an interview with Roger Goodell talking about having to have concerns about his nephew because he's a black man. But I want you to think about how Roger Goodell, who is the head of the NFL, he's the commissioner, at the end of the day, this man, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't really care so much for black people, in my opinion. I mean, we all saw how they did Colin Kaepernick for peacefully protesting. Okay, so I'm not buying it. All right, now I'm going to put an overlay on this and we're going to listen to it.
You said in watching one of my previous episodes that you were moved in watching an interracial episode, and there was a particular scene that you said you saw and it moved you, and I just wanted to take a look at that with you. I believe it was
that's her.
Black men get their lives taken, be murdered by white people. Does it make you feel any differently about your white family?
No.
What about white people in general?
Yeah, I get scared, yeah, in public or something like that.
Why?
I don't want that to happen to me.
It's just sad to know that somebody might do that to people that look like me or Amos just because out of hatred of our skin color. It's just sad that someone would want to do that. It's scary about I might lose a brother, or I might lose my life, and then I don't want to leave this family.
What was it about that particular scene, or even that particular episode, that touched you, Roger Goodell, the person?
Seeing somebody living in that kind of fear is just not right. To have kids that can't go to the playground without thinking about fear and what can go wrong and what the color of their skin is, and does that put them at risk? We've got to fix that. We've got to make this world better, because it's just not right.
You told me something, which again, I hope it's okay that I can share. You told me on the phone, you said, that scene made me realize I have to have conversations with my black nephew. I didn't even realize you had a black nephew. What kind of conversations are you referring to?
Well, I don't look at him as a black nephew. I look at him as my nephew.
Yeah.
He's named after my father, Charlie Goodell. And it's my youngest brother, and he actually has adopted 2 other kids. And I just look at him as my nephew.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think about, does he have that fear when he's walking out? And does he really think that he's in danger every time he walks outside of the building?
Does that worry you? The fact that
Yeah. No, when I hear, and we see it, right? We see it playing out on television.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't just some made up fear. We're seeing it play out. And I think from that standpoint, I don't want my family, and I don't want anybody else to live in that kind of fear.
So many of these players come from these communities. Predominantly, I think the NFL is roughly 70 or so percent black. But then the ownership, I think it's roughly 95% white. How can you mend the disconnect between ownership, which is predominantly white, that might not inherently understand, and your workforce and players that are predominantly black who may have grown up or lived this out? How can you mend that rift?
By exactly what you're doing. Make them have uncomfortable conversations with their players.
Yeah.
Make them go and sit and listen. Don't listen to me at a league meeting. Go and talk to your players. Have that conversation. Work with them. Go with them on a ride along.
Hey, I'm calling Cap. He's full of it. It's full of BS. This is the same man who did not want Colin Kaepernick kneeling to peacefully protest for the lives of black people being taken in the streets by the police. I'm not falling for it. Okay, he is full of crap. Panther Strike said he let Colin Kaepernick suffer and get dragged over a peaceful and much needed protest during the racist national anthem. Exactly. So I'm not falling for the BS. Now, if you ask me, him parading his black nephew out here all of a sudden Okay, it's because I just feel like he just wants to get, credit for that so it doesn't look like he's racist. Too late. Too late. And it doesn't have anything to do with them having an adopted black person in their family because, in my opinion, there's plenty of racist people who adopt black children. We see it all the times. I've reported on the stories. Okay, treating them like slaves and all that. Now, I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm just saying that doesn't mean that, oh, you're not racist all of a sudden. Okay, that's not what that means. So miss me with it at the end of the day. And like I said, I now believe that this is a good reason why people have been hating on Shedeur and why they colluded, the NFL that is, to not have him even drafted, because we don't need the story of the proud black man who was raised by a proud black man who shines like a light because he's talented and it's in his genetics and his DNA, and his father was the same. And we don't need that story taking over the headlines because my nephew is going to be in the NFL soon. And we need him to shine. And I also feel that the reason that his nephew didn't go to Colorado when Dion recruited him at Jackson and wanted him to follow him to Colorado, I believe that perhaps they didn't want Dion's influence all over him. Okay, they didn't want him feeling ingratiated into to Dion. They don't want Dion getting the credit for helping yet another black young man make it to the NFL. We don't want to hear his mouth. We don't want to sing his praises. And we definitely don't want his son, Shedeur, taking up all of the coverage and being the talk of the whole NFL, which he is anyway, no matter how they try to hold him back and stifle his growth. But let's keep listening. And also, let me just say, these are all of my opinions. I can't substantiate any of this.
Many of our owners have, by the way. They've gone on ride-alongs. They've gone to bail hearings. I had an owner with me from the Saints, Gail Benson, who sat right there. And that it's the same thing. It'll move you to really truly understand what's happening in your communities that you may not be seeing every day.
Mm-hmm.
We may be privileged or in a different part of town, but it is happening nonetheless. And it's important to stop it and to change it.
2-3 months ago, you came out and you said, we support players' rights to peacefully protest.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. I was moved by that.
We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of Black people.
This is how you know he's all cap. He said they at the NFL Football League, they condemn racial discrimination or whatever. No, they don't. And then the guy interviewing him said, oh, he came out and spoke about the right of the players to peacefully protest. That's all BS. If there was a right for them to peacefully protest, then why did all of this stuff happen to Colin Kaepernick? Make it make sense. Marjorie said the broadcast is repeating. Are you all hearing an echo or something? I don't believe anything that he's saying. I don't believe it at all. Leon said, being the great white savior. Exactly. These are the stories that they love to put out there. And now he's trying to use this as a guise to make everyone feel like he's so, concerned about the Black players, that there's no racism in the NFL. If there was no racism in the NFL, how come he didn't say anything? How come he's not speaking out against what's happening to Shedeur? How come he didn't do anything to stop it? Because it's likely happening because of him. Now, he sat there and acted as though he's such good friends with Dion. He knows that his nephew is supposedly good friends with Shiloh. Why wouldn't he speak up for them? Why wouldn't he speak up for them? I have several questions. Okay? But let's listen to a couple of more minutes and then I'm going to switch up. Likes up, everyone.
We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest.
There's nothing more peaceful than bowing one's head and taking a knee. We've seen other sports now do it. Will you support players if they were to peacefully protest during the national anthem this season?
Yes, we have never disciplined a single player for anything at the national anthem and in violation, and I don't intend to.
But now they haven't.
And I will support them.
They haven't been allowed to take a knee. Are they allowed to take a knee during the national anthem?
Yeah, but that's my point. They've never. The players have. Players still do today, and they did last season. And
Now, do you all hear the BS? Oh, they do. They still do today. Yeah, they have let people take a knee, but they didn't do them like they did Colin Kaepernick because they were kneeling for a different reason. Let's talk about Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, I do believe it was 2013 when he took a knee to peacefully protest. Okay. Wasn't it against abortion? They didn't say he was disrespecting the flag. Why is it that when Tim Tebow took a knee, they didn't accuse him of disrespecting the flag? But when Colin Kaepernick did for social injustices against people who look like me, all of a sudden he was being disrespectful. Okay, and they colluded against him. So Roger Goodell is full of BS. Now I'm gonna listen to a couple more minutes, and then I'm done with him.
So, and we've never disciplined any of them. I don't.
He said they've never disciplined any of them for it. He's not lying. He's not lying. They didn't ever discipline any of them for it except for Colin. And you should ask yourselves why.
I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You talk about that video a couple of months ago.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I think I've heard just about enough. Okay, I think I've heard just about enough. With that all being said, I just wanted you all to hear that because I find it all to be a load of BS. Okay, now, so Roger Goodell causes widespread confusion by showing up at HBCU National Championship to support nephew. So I guess everybody was shocked. At Jackson State and North Carolina Central, or as Jackson State, North Carolina Central took to the field for the Celebration Bowl on Saturday, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell was in attendance. It left nearly everybody watching completely baffled. Now, someone posted saying the Southwestern Athletic Conference would like to send a huge thanks to National Football League and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell for the league's continued support of HBCUs. So now, oh, he's not racist. He has a black nephew and he supports HBCUs. Are y'all listening? Are y'all listening? Ha! Let me continue. Now, the Celebration Bowl played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta was first played in 2015. Okay, skip past all of that. Because of its ties to two prominent conferences of historically black colleges and universities, it's informally known as the HBCU National Championship. Deion Sanders and Jackson State fell to North Carolina Central in a heartbreaking fashion, whatever. Okay, so they talk about the game. Now, this looks like a okay, that's the video that we already saw where he was giving his nephew a pat on the back. Now, they say Charlton Goodell, or Charlie, as Uncle Roger calls him. It says they shared a hug that looked just like the one Roger gives every first-round NFL draft pick each April before the game. Okay, now here's what people are saying about it. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see the response from people when they heard this, that Roger Goodell has a black nephew. See the look on this guy's face? Ha! So now JSU got Roger Goodell nephew, and you telling me no? Okay, Blanks leaked that information before today. You see what it says, the JUs. Ha! Okay. Then somebody says Roger Goodell having a black nephew at an HBCU is something I didn't expect to see ever in my life. Somebody says they said Roger Goodell's nephew plays for Jackson State, and I thought it was a bit, but it turns out Roger Goodell's nephew plays for Jackson State. And this one says America. Hold on. America as a whole realizing Roger Goodell has a black nephew. You see people's reactions? Roger Goodell having a nephew that plays football at Jackson State was not on my bingo card. Roger Goodell having a nephew at Jackson State is one of the biggest plot twists of the year. Now, as it would turn out, it's actually a very cool thing. Charlton is one of Roger's younger brother's adopted children and has gone on to an impressive college football career. back in 2020 in an interview with Emmanuel Acho called Uncomfortable Conversations with Black Men. Goodell spoke about his nephew. He offered a unique perspective. Sit down somewhere. A unique perspective. Do you all hear that? First of all, here's what I think. If you adopt a Black child and they are growing up and becoming a teenager, specifically a Black man or young man, and you need to have a conversation with them about racism in this country, what you should do, Roger Goodell, is have someone who looks like him talk to him about it. A man who is Black, who has actually grown up and has had to endure the systemic racism in this country. A Black person should be talking to him about that, not Roger Goodell. That's just my 2 cents, because Roger Goodell has not lived in Black skin and he has never been on the other side of it. And the only thing he can do is give his perspective from his own people, not ours. That's for number one. But at the end of the day, this in no way, shape, form, or fashion, in my opinion, leads me to think that Roger Goodell isn't still some whole racist, because I absolutely believe that he is. Now, that's just my opinion. Okay? Lights up, everyone. Please like and share. Now, with that all being said, let me go to this next video. Hold on, beloved. Waiting for this ad to go. Okay, so I'm going to let you all hear this, but I'm going to put an overlay over it. Now, this is Roger Goodell speaking on his Black nephew.
1983 was the first time I actually came here. It was called the Freedom Bowl, and it's always meant something to me, but it has more meaning to me. My nephew is actually on the Jackson State team, and look forward to seeing him in prime. Has always been not just one of my heroes, but one of the guys I always look to for good guidance.
With the spotlight that's been on HBCUs because of Coach Prime and he's going to now Power 5, do you see the NFL and the ownerships and the scouts looking deeper and deeper at this level of talent?
Absolutely. Before I could even get halfway around the field, I ran into 3 scouts. And so, they're paying attention. And there's a lot of talent in the HBCUs, a lot of them on this field today. And that's great for football, but it's also great for these young kids.
Okay, now with that all being said, this young man isn't that great of a football player. I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm just saying he's not that great. But I'll guarantee you he's going to get drafted just because of his good old uncle, Roger Goodell. And so they can have their little story of the downtrodden little Negro child who grew up and made it to the NFL thanks to the NFL commissioner's family. Okay, now this is the video of Roger Goodell talking to Shedeur, and listen to what he says. And listen carefully. This is just a very brief clip.
Hey, big guy. What's going on? Hey, look. You doing all right? You got to let my brother have his way in the league. Yeah, I'm worried about your pop. What you worried about him for?
Now, y'all heard that? He said, I'm worried about your pop. Shiloh said something like, you got to let my brother have his way in the NFL or something like that. He made some kind of comment about his brother. And Goodell said, I'm worried about your pop. Shedeur said, what you worried about him for? Yeah, what is he worried about him for? Okay, what is he worried about him for? So I just find that very interesting. I think that may be something to do with the collusion against Shedeur. Okay, I think that's the story they want to lead with. What do you all think? You all let me know once in the chat if you agree. Now, if you disagree, that's perfectly fine, but I really just want to know you all's thoughts. Do you all think that possibly that's the reason why they were told everybody colluded to not draft Shedeur Sanders? Once if you think yes, twos if no. Once if yes, twos if no. And then we're moving on to the next topic. Said Dion knows their secrets. He's from the old league. Right. Okay, so some of you all agree with me. Yeah, I just wanted to get you all's perspective. And again, shout out to I Smoke Hip Hop, blessed one, because like I said, I found that information out from him. Okay. So I find it all very interesting. All right. So everybody's saying yes. All right. So thank you guys. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic because you all know that Trump is a low down dirty devil. We all know it, right? Well, so now Trump has set his target on Chicago's mayor. And he has some nasty things to say about them too. But don't worry because the Chicago mayor, Johnson, shot back as he should. Okay, as he should. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And I told you guys from day one, remember, you definitely heard this here first, that Donald Trump, I told you all, he was going to start in Washington, D.C., and then he was going to move on, okay? He was going to move on and start going to other places with predominantly Black folk and just causing mayhem. So Sister said, he said it all. I'm worried about your pops. Exactly, beloved. Okay, exactly. Isn't that something? But he's supposed to be so down for Dion. Okay, see how they'll stab you in your back, just like the girl did Kizzy in the movie Roots? You see that? Please pay attention. All right, please pay attention. I'm going to share my screen. Now listen to Trump. He is so full of BS.
In Chicago and other cities led by Democrats as he looks towards expanding his crackdown on crime.
The president claims that he may deploy National Guard troops. WGN's Courtney Spinelli has the details and reaction from lawmakers.
The president's comments today aren't sitting well with many Illinois lawmakers. Some are even calling this a political stunt.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next.
His petulance and his proclivity to name call is simply a distraction because he knows that he does not have a firm foundation of substance to stand on.
President Trump says the Windy City could be next as part of his federal crime crackdown. His comments coming the same day the Pentagon started ordering National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. to carry firearms.
People in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come.
The president claims crime in Chicago is out of control, but city data shows violent crime trending down, including homicides dropping more than 30% this year. Mayor Brandon Johnson claims even though the Trump administration cut federal funding for gun violence prevention programs in the U.S., the city's investments in housing, community safety, and education are having a positive effect.
What we're doing in Chicago is actually working. Again, 32% reduction in homicides. That's not something to just blink at. Now, is there more work to be done? Absolutely. So let's continue to do the work that's working.
Johnson says he is taking Trump's threat seriously, something Alderman Brian Hopkins echoes. Both feel deploying troops would only increase tensions, not solve anything.
If he really wants to help Chicago's law enforcement problem, he should give us a federal Homeland Security grant so we could hire 2,000 police officers. Chicagoans who know our city.
Trump's order to send hundreds of troops to Los Angeles is currently at the center of a legal challenge. It's likely the same would happen if he tried to do this with Chicago. Johnson says they'll leave no stones unturned, including legal action if it comes to it.
We will use every single tool available to stop this president from disrupting the lives of Chicagoans.
Meanwhile, the president has also thrown jabs at Governor J.B. Pritzker while making recent comments on the topic. The governor, in a statement writing in part, Trump's goal is to incite fear in our communities and destabilize existing public safety efforts, all to create a justification to further abuse his power. He is playing a game and creating a spectacle for the press to play along with. The president says after Chicago, he's looking to New York and L.A. Meantime, Johnson says that he's not received any formal communication from the Trump administration regarding additional federal law enforcement or military deployments to the city. In Chicago tonight, Courtney Spinelli, WGN News.
Okay, so you all heard that. Now, with that being said, Panther Strike says, Queen, you were calling out martial law 4 years ago. Exactly. I told you guys that's what Trump wants. That's what he's heading towards. That's exactly what he's up to. Okay. And now he's acting like there's all this problem, but every place that he's going to, acting as though crime is so abundantly out of control, crime is in fact down. Okay, when we do the research, it shows that crime is down in these areas that he's targeting. So why is he targeting them? Well, because he's targeting the Black community. Okay, and he's acting. And then, did you all hear the video that he did? There was a video where he said that Black women asked him to come there. Okay, this is all crazy. That's what he said. He said Black women, beautiful Black women or something, asked him to come to Chicago. Hold on, beloveds. I'm like, Trump, no Black person anywhere asked you to do that. Let me see if this is it. President Donald Trump made several off-the-cuff comments about military deployment in Washington, D.C. to reduce crime. Hold on. Yeah, let me go to this video and see if this is it. He needs to sit down somewhere, sit up here lying, talking about beautiful Black women told him to come to Chicago. Yeah, sure, Trump, we believe you.
President Trump making an announcement in the Oval Office today, revealing the 2026 World Cup draw will take place at the Kennedy Center. Trump touting the news alongside FIFA's president during a Q&A with reporters. Trump also spoke about the deployment of the National Guard in Washington, D.C. and his hopes to expand troops to other cities. Trump saying if he gets his way, Chicago will be next. Take a listen.
We're going to make our country very safe. We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this.
He says Chicago is up next. So for more, let's bring in ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers. So Karen, Trump is clearly setting the stage here for some sort of multi-city response when it comes to the National Guard. Any sense of when this could actually happen?
No sense of when this could happen, Morgan, but the president has also indicated Memphis, Tennessee is a possible city that they would look to replicate the actions here in Washington, D.C. The president talked about that yesterday in a radio interview. He said it again last night that there would be other cities where they would try to do this surge of federal resources to tackle crime. And then the president today mentioning Chicago, talking about the city officials there failing, and that is why they need to go in there. It's not clear exactly what this would look like and how this could be in other cities, what that pushback would be from local officials as well as state officials, like, say, the governor of Illinois, for example. D.C., of course, is a unique case because you do have a city here that is not a state. You have the mayor, but there is that ability of the federal government to step in and have that oversight if they choose to. And that's what the president is doing with this emergency order. But also the important thing is that an order is only lasting 30 days. And a big question for the White House here in D.C. is what's going to happen after that? Are they looking to extend it? And they haven't yet said what the president's plans are.
Yeah, all eyes on that. Karen Travers, thank you so much.
Okay, you guys, I just found that video on TikTok. So I'm going to go to it because Trump needs to stop lying so much, but he can't help himself. That's what pathological liars do. Okay, that's what he's out here doing, honey. I'm going to go to this video. You all got to hear this fool just sitting there lying. He's always trying to act as though, I want you all to pay attention, because when Trump wants to target the Black community, he always tries to pretend that we're the ones that asked for it. Okay, doesn't he always do that time and time again? Act as though we're the ones that asked for it, for him to show up, okay, or send in military troops. You know darn well, Black people don't even want to see the police, just all over our community, let alone the National Guard, okay, and the feds. He's just so full of crap, wreaking havoc and all of that. Remember how he said initially he was talking about the little Black ladies couldn't go across the street to get a loaf of bread? Remember when he said that? He's such a liar.
Dookie Booty out here lying on the 92%, y'all.
The people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the Black vote, as you know.
African-American ladies. Bitch, Keep our motherfucking race out your mouth. Don't speak on black women because we don't fuck with you. We'll never fuck with you and never have fuck with you. Don't get us confused with the MAGA bitches, okay? Because those wasn't black women. They officially MAGA. Yeah, MAGA is a race. MAGA is its own mother.
Ooh, she has a potty mouth. Okay, so I just wanted y'all to hear that because he needs to sit down somewhere. Talking about talking about the beautiful black ladies, the beautiful black ladies. They said they want me to come. Trump, sit down somewhere. Do y'all hear this fool? And then Panther Shark said Clinton lied and said black folks wanted the 1991 crime bill. Right, they're always lying on us, doing things to our detriment, doing things that are clearly racist, okay, targeting us for no apparent reason, all right, and then lying as if we asked him to show up there. No, we didn't, and nobody asked for that 91 crime bill either. Okay, that's what nobody did ask for. When she said MAGA is a race, that is a good one. D Major said he's going to start using that. Okay, I will too. Yeah, she had a potty mouth. I had to get her off the screen. She was doing too much cursing. But anyway, listen to this. Listen to this because there's been another hate crime reported, beloved. There has been another hate crime reported. This happened in South Carolina to a black man by the name of Jarvis McKenzie, if you have not heard. Okay, this was reported 2 days ago, August the 21st. It will forever change my life. Columbia man speaks out after being targeted in alleged hate crime shooting. Richland County deputy said a man shot at Jarvis McKenzie in a racially motivated attack. I want you all to pay attention. You all need to pay attention and be on your P's and your Q's and keep your head on the swivel because this man was minding his own black business when some racist just showed up and fired shots while he was waiting on his ride and just fired shots at him. So let's get into it. So the man who Richland County deputies said was targeted in a racially motivated attack is sharing his story for the first time and calling for change. Jarvis McKenzie spoke Thursday alongside his attorney, Tyler Bailey, about the incident that happened on July the 17th on Brook Spring Road in Northeast Richland County. Investigators with the Richland County Sheriff's Department say McKenzie, who is black, was standing outside his home around 5:30 a.m. when a man stopped his car, looked at him, and opened fire. Deputies say the suspect, 33-year-old Jonathan Felkel, who is white, shouted, "Keep running, boy," as he fired the shot. Felkel was arrested and charged with assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, and hate intimidation under Richland County's recently enacted hate crime ordinance. McKenzie said he was waiting outside his home for his supervisor to pick him up for work with the City of Columbia's wastewater department, where he's been employed for 2 years, when the gunfire started. Okay, so now with that being said, I'm going to go to the press conference. I'm going to go to the press conference. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Okay, here we go. This is a darn shame. Black people can't even stand outside and mind their own business.
Who close to.
At Zaxby's, you can lemon pepper.
Place in Richland County. That press conference happening right now. Let's take you live to it.
Targeting as an African-American man on July 17th. And he's never spoken to the media or press before, but he's speaking today. He was motivated to speak based on some recent comments about there being no need for a hate crime, statewide hate crime bill here in South Carolina.
Above all that drama, please watch your comments. Don't put any type of comments like that in the chat, please. And thank you. I just deleted it.
And as a survivor, somebody who went through what he went through, he wanted to speak. And it wasn't easy for him to come to his conclusion because he was worried about his own safety, being targeted by people who are more sympathetic to the accused than they are somebody in his shoes who went through what he went through. We have local ordinances that have hate crime bills, like the city of Columbia. Richland County has one. Irmo's working on one. There are others, but there's nothing statewide. And also there's a federal hate crime bill that helps, or statute that helps, but the state of South Carolina has ignored it. But Mr. McKenzie is going to talk about what he went through. I'll briefly will interject from there. We'll take some questions towards the end, but just be mindful. There is still some active investigations that we believe. There may be a federal indictment possibly of the accused, but we don't know where that's going to go. That was reported in state paper this morning. So I'll let Mr. McKenzie go ahead and tell a story from here.
Hello, my name is Jarvis McKenzie. I'm a resident of the Spring Valley community, a father, a hardworking man, and I also has a past. And on July the 17th, I was targeted, and I feel that it will forever change my life and my family's own. I was shot at standing, waiting to go to work at 5:30 in the morning, and I feel that there's something should be done with the bill.
And I'm gonna help lead him through this. So there was some reports saying that he was jogging. Mr. McKenzie gets up super early every morning to go to work. He's been living in the Spring Valley community for a couple years. He gets up every morning to wake up and wait for his supervisor to take him to work. That morning, that's what he was doing. He was waiting. And that's when he saw the shooter, who stopped his car, looked him dead into the eyes. They never met each other before. There was no exchange of words at all. Mr. McKenzie just feeling with the sixth sense, essentially, something was going to happen. And that's when he takes off and starts running. And he's shot at. And he's a man of few words. And one thing he didn't mention, after he's shot at, he still goes to work that morning. Finishes his whole day. He leaves directly to go to work. His fiance is the one who called law enforcement. He finished working that day. Despite the traumatic experience that he had, it has impacted him. If you could talk a little bit more about how you felt when it happened and when you ran, that would be good for the public to know.
Yeah, when it happened, I was scared. You know what I'm saying? Never had no problems with nobody in the community until then. So, it changes me from here moving forward. It changed me.
After he was shot at, there's a brick wall nearby. He hides behind the brick wall the entire time. He calls his fiance. He calls his supervisor to say to still go to work. And supervisor comes and picks him up. He leaves from behind the brick wall to make sure the shooter didn't circle back to shoot at him again. And then he gets in the vehicle, goes to work. He cooperates with law enforcement when they're investigating it. When he was shot at, there were some words said, "Run, boy, run." From what we know, the accused, when he was interrogated by law enforcement, he said that he was shot at Mr. McKenzie because of his race, him being a black man. And today he's standing up talking, like I said, motivated by where we are in our climate with no statewide hate crime ordinance. And I think it's really courageous for him to do so with the climate and what can happen from here. And so those who are watching, we would appreciate any support from Mr. McKenzie standing up. He's going to take some questions. We're going to talk today, but this wasn't easy for him to come to, for him or his family, who's also worried about their safety now. We'll take some questions briefly, and we'll comment where we can.
What do you do for a living? I work for the city of Columbia.
These service specials at McDonough Nissan are only for you, the person watching this ad. Take a screenshot or mention this ad when you...
What exactly do you do for this week in particular?
Sewer, wastewater.
And how long have you worked there?
2 years.
Now, I'm sorry, but why is he worried about where he works at and how long he's been there? What does that have to do with what happened to him? I'm just curious. Maybe he's just being curious. I don't know. But I just have questions as to why he's worried about where this man works at.
Lived in that neighborhood for a while?
2 years, sir.
Okay. And it's kind of the Spring Valley, so it's kind of near where that the spot where you sit, because it's easy for the supervisor to come by.
Yes, sir.
Because it's right by 2 Notch, if I remember right. It's really easy to pick you up.
Yes, sir. Actually, I've been standing there for a whole year waiting on my ride to come.
So for a whole year. So this is okay. And I mean, just tell me, do you feel like betrayed in a way? I mean, it had to be like a total shock because, like you say, you just stand there doing your thing and waiting for your calls.
Yes, sir. I really do. And it really affected my family with moving around the residence of my neighborhood.
How did it affect them?
They're scared.
Scared to, is that your stepdaughter?
Yes, sir.
His stepdaughter who lives there, they heard the shot happen. So they were wondering what that loud noise was. And she typically would go walking in the morning. She's scared, thinking that she's going to be targeted because of her race. It's something that he was just going to work in the morning. And one thing he mentioned is it's not like he woke up on July 17th and said, you know, I want to be a civil rights activist and come speak out about what happened. He was just trying to go to work. And unfortunately, there's more conversation from there and comments saying there's no need for a state hate crime ordinance really kind of fired him up. In South Carolina, we treat dogs, if a law enforcement dog is killed, that is different than if a regular civilian dog was killed. So dogs are afforded more protections than human beings who are trying to get up, go to work, and provide for the family. And that's really what motivated him to speak today.
How has this changed with you and your family's morning routine and everyday routine?
It's like, it's hard, you know what I'm saying? Like getting up, going out there, doing the same thing I've been doing. And it's also hard for them. Like, you know, we got the same routine. We're going to school, going to work in the morning, worrying if somebody gonna be outside your house, you know. So it really changed it a whole lot since then.
What are you doing different?
Waiting for the sun to come up, things of that matter, looking out the door, you know, checking around the house and stuff like that, making sure ain't nobody out there, because I don't know who is who now.
And how are you even feeling since the incident?
Strange, you know, feel like somebody watching me or something, you know, that I'm being followed, you know, it spooked me up, really.
And have you ever experienced anything like this before?
Not like that.
And when you found out it was because of your race, do you want to talk about how that makes you feel today? And when you first initially found out he targeted you because of that, what your thoughts were?
Can't barely hear you.
I was saying, just piggybacking off of our conversation about your right to speak out, what are some things that you would still want to see to the state lawmakers still haven't made that push for the statewide
I think they should really push it so nobody else family will be heartbroken or hurt or the situation of their skin color. So I really think it should be pushed.
And I would say add to that, people are emboldened by the lack of a state hate crime ordinance or bill, because it's a subliminal message that says, if you're racist and you want to commit a crime against somebody, targeting them for their race, gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, whatever it is, you could do it here. And unfortunately, Richland County has this ordinance because oftentimes there'll be crimes that happen, there'll be racial slurs that are used when in furtherance of the crime, and they've been typically have been categorized as an assault or something like that, versus there being a hate crime ordinance to prosecute under. And so those are things that now, with a hate crime bill being there, at least locally, that could be explored and we could deter it from happening more. But without a statewide one, there's no felony. This is a misdemeanor. You get a misdemeanor for littering. You get a misdemeanor from, you know, turning right on red when you shouldn't turn right on red. But a hate crime statewide felony bill would mean something. Just like with canines that are in law enforcement versus dogs that are in your backyard. It's saying that we respect law enforcement animals. We need to show the same respect and dignity of those who are being targeted because they are a minority in whatever reason they are. But more questions. I'm sorry for ranting on with that.
All right, you got the indication from your
Yeah. I have heard that they are looking into it. So my assumption is that they're considering possibly bringing some charges. And there's an article in the state paper today. I'm not sure if the U.S. Attorney's Office or anybody else has commented on it, but from chatter that I've heard from different sources, I think they're looking at it. at bringing one. And I think me and Ms. McKenzie will welcome any prosecution that's going to deter this from happening to others. And also, you got to have to be some culpability, responsibility for what happened to Ms. McKenzie.
Mr. McKenzie, as an African-American man, at what point did you realize this was because of your race? Was it when he looked you in the eye? Was it when he said, boy? At what point did you go, oh no, he's coming after me because I'm black?
When he said, run, boy, and when he looked me in my eyes, I seen the cold stare that he had, so I knew automatically that something wasn't right.
Now, in my opinion, that reporter asked him that question specifically to see if he could verify or if he could make sense as to how he's deeming this as a hate crime. That's what it sounds like to me. He said, at what point did you realize that he was doing this because of your race? Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure that's usually what the reason is, okay? A white person comes and just randomly fires at some random black person that doesn't know them. You're not trying to rob them. You're just trying to do harm to them. Yeah, that's a hate crime and he knows it. Okay, he didn't have to do anything specifically to me. The fact that he just pulled up to this man who's minding his own business, standing outside of his own residence, waiting for his ride to work, looked dead at him, and then fired a gunshot for no other good reason. Okay? It's just my opinion.
And what are some words that you may have for the suspect that are the person that shot him?
Can't say no good or say none of that. No, I really don't know.
How's the community been towards you? Like, having this happen?
Well,
Everything.
he hasn't spoken out previously about it. There's people who know who are close to him, but there hasn't been an outpouring of support from the community because he's been really keeping it to himself outside his family and friends who know that it's him. So I think the community should rally behind him with this for stepping out. If there are going to be social media comments, please comment, that you're in support of Jarvis McKenzie stepping up and using the platform and using his trauma to try to make better good for everybody.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to show you all the man who did it, okay? I'm going to share my screen so you all can see who this person is that fired the gunshot at him. That's him right there, guys. That's him right there. Take a good look. He looks like E.T. Now, here's what it says. Okay, this is him. Investigators later found the suspect, Jonathan Felkel, through security footage and interviews with Spring Valley Security. Authorities say Felkel could be heard yelling a derogatory statement at the victim after shooting the weapon. Now, during questioning, Felkel admitted that he fired the gun to scare the victim because of his race. So he admitted to it. He said he did it because of his race. Don't they have a law called ethnic intimidation? Because that's another thing he should be charged with, because he tried to scare him. Now, Felkel, he actually tried to shoot him. He did more than try to scare him. That's just what he's fessing up to. But he literally tried to kill him. So he should have been charged with attempted murder. Now, they say Felkel was arrested and charged with a hate crime, assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. His bond was set at $1 million. So that's good, because he won't be getting out anytime soon, because we can look at him and tell that there's no way he's coming up with $1 million, okay, or even 10% of it. No, he was arrested. He was arrested, Nene. He was charged with the whole hate crime. That's why I just read that to you guys, because I saw people asking, was he charged with a hate crime? And yes, he was. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before I roll out of here, because I have a lot to do today, is this. There is a young Black woman who has T-shirts with the Klan on it, okay? And basically, she walked into a store and Karen got upset over her shirt. So I want you to see her shirt. Okay, I want you to see her shirt and hear what Karen had to say about it. Now, I didn't find anything wrong with it. As you can see, that's a Klansman on her shirt with a noose around his neck, something that the Klan is known for having been doing.
Your shirt's pretty fucking racist, by the way. Are you a Klan member? No. Then why would you be offended? This is just offensive. To who? To other people. Klan members. Probably. That makes sense.
Okay, now did you all hear that? She just told on herself. She just told on herself because why? Why would you be offended unless you're a racist? That's a picture of a Klansman hanging. The same thing they've done to many people who look like me. So no one should be offended. And how is that racist? Okay. But she was clearly pressed about it. And then when the girl asked her, are you a Klan member? She said no. Well, then why are you offended, ma'am? Okay. Please sit down somewhere. All right. Please sit down somewhere. And so anyway, honey, I just wanted y'all to see that. Now, that all being said, I'm about to be up out of here. Okay, Sosa said it's offensive because it's true. Exactly. All right. So listen. Oh, by the way, guys, I heard that Cracker Barrel was changing their sign. I heard they were changing their logo. Let me just check real quick. Did any of you all hear about that? That Cracker Barrel is changing their logo? Here it is right here. Yes, Cracker Barrel has changed its logo as part of a rebranding effort to attract a younger audience and move away from its nostalgic theme or image. The new simplified logo removes the old-time character, the chair and the barrel from the previous design, featuring only the company's name in modern fonts on a golden background. This change has sparked a backlash from customers who are upset about the loss of the brand's traditional charm and rustic aesthetic, and the company's stock price has dropped following the announcement. You know why? Because they love that logo, because it's racist. Okay, I'm going to show it to you. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to show it. I know you all have seen this. I've shown you this before. Okay, likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. All right, here we go. Here we go. Now, moderators, are you all on your jobs or not? Why is it that I keep blocking this person? You all should be doing it before I am. Now, I'm already up here multitasking, guys. Okay, y'all need to get on your job. Do I have to do everything? All right. This creep, whoever it is, keeps making multiple accounts. Now, I'm blocking this person every time. Now, well, he's not slipping in. I keep blocking him. So if I have time to block him, you all should be able to do it before me. I'm up here doing a whole lot. Okay, so no excuses. Okay, so now with that all being said, look at this right here. Now, for those of you who didn't ever notice this, it's called Cracker Barrel because you have this white man, and they're calling him this word right here, and then they have the barrel. Now, if you look further, you see the K, the letter K. This is a whip, like what they used to beat the slaves with. You see how the whip whips all the way around? That's what that is. It's totally racist. And back in the day, and if you don't know why they call the why they call people that word that sounds like saltines or Ritz. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't say racial slurs, and that's what it is in my opinion. But the reason they call them that is because they were the ones who would crack their whip. When they're coming to beat the slaves, they would crack their whip, and the slaves would say, here comes the you know who. Now, if y'all get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But so they're getting rid of this, okay? And so yeah, they're rewriting history. And so they're trying to get rid of the things that show them in a bad light. Okay, that's what that's all about. I hope you all understood that. Okay, Sosa said, wow, Queen, I never realized the symbolism will never see this place the same. Oh, yeah, and they have a history of being racist against Black people. You didn't know that? They have a history of not treating Black people, you know, respectfully when they come in there. Okay, I've never eaten there, but that has been the consensus for years. Okay, so now, right, Robert said, like the museums. Exactly. So to get rid of all the Black stuff out of the Smithsonian's. Boy Broadway said Aunt Jemima was one of the first in Uncle Ben's. Exactly. Exactly. They're trying to clean up their act. Now, funny thing is, they may try to clean up their act and get rid of the symbolic things that show that there is actual racism still alive and thriving in this country. But what they won't do is get rid of the racist things that they continue to do systemically. Okay, we had to get a whole Crown Act so that Black people can go to work with their hair in its natural state, because they would say that you can't work in corporate America or certain jobs if you have locks, afros, braids, and things like that. Isn't that crazy? That's the same thing as saying no Blacks allowed, or saying whites only when they're hiring. That's the same thing. It's still Jim Crow tactics. Okay, it's the same soup twice warmed over. It's the same thing. They just call it something different. Okay, please pay attention. That's exactly what they do. It's the same exact actions, just called something different. All right. Thank you, retired federal officer Police Banks. Now, with that all being said, they will never hide racism. It is too prevalent in America. It absolutely is. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. Listen, I hope you all enjoyed it. Everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. All right. I don't plan on coming back today unless there is some breaking news about something, and then I just might. Okay, so but anyway, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hit 'em with that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got